Everyone, it is the end of June, and this is the June video recap update. In the last month here, there was progress getting a vehicle. Got an FJ Cruiser, which it had all sorts of mechanical issues and took it a while to get fixed, but now it's fixed, and that increases capability for supplies and different things. So that's a great step forward. The plants are doing really well. About halfway through all of the planting and field prep work, so that's good. This build project of what started out as a woodshed and is now also a garage and might have another function or two, that is progressing steadily. It's turning into quite the project, but I'm hoping it will be wrapped up by the end of July. That would be ideal. And beyond that, just kind of doing more networking, staying with the seasons, staying up on everything. It's going well overall. We're in line with the times. Speaking of which, we'll circle back on the forecast from the last video. And the last couple of videos we're talking about following a narrative here. About the kind of macro and economic perspective and getting a foundation where we are now and being able to follow the trends and forecast to where we'll be in the future to prepare for it and act accordingly. So in the last two videos, we were talking about a forecast of that things are going to be pretty stable till the end of June. And things have been relatively economically stable. There's been this whole flare-up of racial tensions and some people rioting, but it seems like it's mostly like isolated and kind of on the surface. It doesn't really seem to be all that it's hyped up to be, kind of like the coronavirus, but they're pushing round 2 of the coronavirus, just like they'll push round 2 of the racial tensions before we get into the election. So we're having like round 2, like the whole agenda now, macro agenda from the programming perspective. It's like, here's round 2 of the flu and the mandate and the state and cover up the economic collapse with all of these distractions. And so the race thing is going to go back to the background, but it'll come to the fore again before the election. But there's going to be a new factor. Like maybe they'll go flu pandemic for a little while and then pivot to something else, like natural disaster or there's always the potential of warfare to secure the confidence in the system. But just on the brink, it's such a tight balancing act, and the focal point can just be so temporary. The short-term attention span of the news cycle, and it's just fascinating how it can be clear the outcome of what's happening, what we're leading to, and yet it can be quite a bit of time until that happens. And anyways, it's just a fascinating practice. But posted something recently about prepping in the second half of 2020, and with all of the volatility, which is going to peak around election time. it's a wise bet, because even after the elections, it's not just going to be fixed one way or the other. There are going to be radically different options, and regardless of who wins, there's going to be a radically upset group populace. But that's not even addressing the economic things, and everything else is basically just a distraction to cover up the reality of the economic situation. So, looking forward between now and the next video, the next month, we've got July ahead of us. July, I believe, is going to be... Man, I made a video, and then I ran out of storage space, and then I was going to make another video, then I had to clear up storage space, and I deleted the first video, and now I just hate repeating myself. But this is the point that I suppose is worth repeating. The idea of, we've entered into the summer season. We're done with spring, and there's a 3-month summer season. The hallmark of this season is a transition from the mid-season, from thriving exponentially in the first half towards a flip in the second half, towards, as we approach the equinox, towards kind of competition for limited resources. By the time we hit the equinox, so I want to say it like in a sine curve. The length of the season of the summer, it's the top of the curve. So by the end of the summer, we'll be into that downward trajectory, and we'll be at peak downward trajectory right around the election time. So this whole 3-month cycle of summer, it still might be like a going up, seeming like an increase for maybe even the next month and a half. But during the same time, you're going to see the seeds sown of the following second half of summer, and then into the next season of economic issues, global macro issues, and instabilities, and lack of trust, and lots of bankruptcies and financial issues, and closures, and of course there's the end of the stimulus, economic unemployment stimulus thing, which ends at the end of July as well, going into August. So that's what I think we're going to really see. We'll see another kind of up to a month of thrive, another month of transition, and then getting into the darker in the third month, which would be September. So it's all looking bright for the next month. And I'm going to keep working here, hopefully finish up with this build project by the end of July. Hopefully all the plants will be good by the end of July. Everything will be set up. And come August, September, when things are getting into that squeeze, going to ideally be as freed up here as possible, and have a bountiful harvest going into the winter season, to be able to bundle up and coast through that season, with all of the abundance secured for the following year. We'll see how it all goes. We're staying aligned, surfing the times in our little solo ride here. Of course, we're not alone. We're connected with all of you beautiful people who are listening and giving your time to listen to me. And maybe we'll be seeing more of each other, at the very least, in the next video. I think that's all I have right now for this video. I'm looking forward to, maybe looking into a trim machine investment. That would be a great thing for this year to increase capacity, get rid of that trim bottleneck, get a load of sand, getting some a metal header for the concrete structure. Continuing that structure, that's how everything is looking forward, and it's all positive. What I'm thinking of is like other people and collaborations and stuff. I'm not seeing where it's all coming together, but I look forward to that when it happens. I imagine it's going to be something like a Titanic situation, where the Titanic sinks and there's a lot of people in the water, and some people got life rafts and some people don't, and the real assholes like don't let the drowning people on their empty life raft. But the good people, for the most part, will be like letting people onto their ship to survive. And I think I would probably do that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I've got some anyways, there'll be a big report tomorrow. I'll have pictures and videos, and next week we might have an update on a trim machine. Fingers crossed. Don't want to make a bad investment, but making moves, always making moves, and accelerating. As long as you don't fall, it's gonna be great. Seeds are already sown. Just gotta stay with it. So that's all for this report. I feel like there's a lot more I could say, but I don't want to waste your time, and I will just refine on my own. And I'll see you next month in this video form, and I'll communicate in our weekly reports and whatnot. And oh yeah, cosmetically, check out all the colors in my hair. I added new colors in my hair, and I'm feeling more colorful, getting some reds and oranges, and man, there's some color for this one, but I forget what it is. It's like burgundy or something, I don't know. But yeah, colorfulness, and there's nothing else to say. Goodbye.